Hello and welcome back to the Scroll Here YouTube channel, and this is a Let's preview of the Champions League playoff game that we've got at Anfield. We are currently ahead 2-1 on aggregate at the moment, and we've got 2 away goals, 2 good goals as well. Fortunate goals, but 2 goals nonetheless, and we will be taking on Hoffenheim. Now what I'm going to take you through, first of all, is what I think our starting 11 could be. And I'm going to show you 2 different versions. I'm going to show you the one that I think that I would love for us to do, just because it'll switch it up a little bit and maybe give us a little bit more power up front, but also the one that I think that you'll actually see on Wednesday night, and hopefully that prediction will be some way correct. So let's get straight into it, and we're going to look at the first lineup is the one that is the 4-1-2-1-2 option. Now this is one that I personally like, and it's similar to one that Liverpool have actually used previously, where they actually have 2 strikers up top. I like that, or at least having, 2 people up top in a variance of some other, whether they're actually 2 straight forwards up front or whether it's maybe 1 in behind, something like that. It depends. But I really like this one that you're going to see in front of you right now, because I'm looking at it and I think I really like it because it doesn't only just combine the players that I want to see in the different positions and stuff like that, such as Klavan at centre-back instead of Lovren, and Robertson in there. After his blinding game, there is absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be starting, because of his performance against Crystal Palace was man of the match quality. I think Mane got the official man of the match due to his goal and stuff, and his absolute work rate and everything like that as well. But I think that that was Robertson's, to be fair. In my opinion, that was Robertson's game. Plus, it also gives you a little bit more. I think it would give us more control of the midfield, in my opinion. You have Emre Can. Obviously, you're going to see there's no Henderson and Milner in my starting 11, just because I just don't think they've got that creative drive enough. And we saw that against Crystal Palace. It was commented on a lot by the media and pundits and such like that as well, that the creativity wasn't there. They are there. They can do the busy work, the hard work, the grunt work, and the grit. But they're not necessarily going to be the most creative. So I would, in my opinion, even though people will say Emre Can is much more pushing forward, you could switch him out for Henderson, you could switch him out for Wijnaldum or Milner, any of those. It's their options anyway. You've got options for each of those positions. But for me, I would go for Emre Can, because I just think he's a powerhouse. He's an absolute powerhouse, and he could stride through the midfield. Yeah, he might leave the back four a little bit exposed, but when he's in position, if he was in this position, in this formation, he'd be most likely more, often to be in front of that back four and give them a little bit of cover as well. You'd then have, again, you could still have Mane on the left-hand side and Salah on the right-hand side, and you still get that pace going up the wings, and they can go anywhere they like if they wanted to. I've dropped Firmino back into the cam spot, the central attacking midfield spot, purely because he doesn't have the pace and such like that I would like, and physicality that I would like as a striker. But I do think that he can be a very creative striker. Now, if I remember rightly, I think he can be a creative midfielder. I think he's got the trickery, he's got the footwork, he's got good passing, he's got a hell of a shot on him when he wants to. He's been trying some long ranges from, in the Crystal Palace match especially. So I'm thinking he's been practicing that, and he's going to be wanting to launch some bombs at someone eventually. But regardless of that, I think he could do well in that position if he was put there. Then you'd have, in my opinion, you could have Sturridge and Solanke, you could have Origi and Solanke, you could switch things up, and you could put Emre Can in the cam spot, and you could bring in like Milner, Henderson, Wijnaldum in CDM. You've got a lot of different options in there as well. It's just my opinion. I think that you could do this one. I think it'll give you power up front. So I think, for me, yeah, I've gone with Solanke over Origi, and I'd be hard pushed for anyone to tell me why Origi should be ahead of Solanke at the moment. I don't actually see it myself. I think that Solanke right now is ahead of Origi, and I think that is it until, maybe you could go Origi and Solanke. But for me, Solanke is a mainstay. If we were going to go 2 up top, I would want Solanke in that team. I think he's proved it in, he's only getting maybe 5-10 minute substitutions. If he gets a little bit longer, I think he would actually be able to have a bit more of an impact, because he puts himself about, he creates, that defence doesn't really know how to deal with him. Or at least Crystal Palace's didn't anyway. Didn't really know how to deal with him. He was getting shots off. He was being a bully. He was being excellent. And for a 19-year-old, maybe even 20 now, I'm not sure, that was excellent. I'm not saying that Sturridge would start necessarily, but I do think that Sturridge, even right now, even though he's not, his pace and stuff like that and his movement hasn't been the best, so far this season, he's still better than Origi at the moment, and you'd have a left footer and a right footer up top in their respective positions. That's just my opinion on this one anyway. I think we'd still have quite a strong bench as well with Moreno, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Origi, Milner, Karius and Grujic. I think you'd still have, and they wouldn't necessarily be my substitutions because there's a hell of a lot of midfielders in there. You don't necessarily need that. You'd obviously need maybe centre-back cover, but obviously I've took Lovren out. Whoops. Possibly didn't mean to, but I probably did mean to. So, yeah, let's just move on from that one, shall we? I like that formation, and I think it could work for Liverpool, or some different orientation of it. I would just love to see us try two up top. I think we did it, near the end of last season, and it worked out pretty well for us, to be honest. Now we move on to the formation that I actually think that we'll end up seeing, and it does ring true to kind of what our starting lineup has looked like so far. In some of the games anyway. We obviously rested a couple of people against Crystal Palace as well. But for me, if we are going to go for this formation, which is kind of what we've been using so far, it brings together a couple of players, especially in the back line mainly, that I think have been the strongest so far. It brings people, and that we have available as well. Coutinho right now is backtracking like hell. If you get on Twitter or get on any of social media and stuff like that, the Coutinho situation looks like it's being backtracked a hell of a lot, and it's one of those things. He's probably not going to be available though. If he was, I'd have him in there. I really would. I would have him in there, no doubt. But I don't think he'll be available. Lallana's not going to be available either. So I think in terms of midfield, this is what we would have to go for. Now, in my opinion, I've set this up myself, but I think maybe Milner would actually maybe drop back where Henderson is, and Henderson goes where Milner is, because I think Henderson's got a bit more legs. I don't know, to be honest, though. I think Milner's actually been playing better than Henderson lately, and Henderson might not even make it into the team. You could then put maybe Milner or Chan down in that CDM spot and have Wijnaldum in one of those spots up in the middle, the upper part of midfield. Who knows? Wijnaldum, though, I think Wijnaldum will get dropped because he's been going missing in games. Now, it was quite a common occurrence, especially when he was at Newcastle, that he would go missing in away games, but when he was at home, he would perform. Now we've had a home game, and he's not performed there either. And I'm wondering whether, is he just having a slow start to the season? I'm inclined to say yes, because I think so far I've been proven quite wrong about Wijnaldum. I think he has actually been, he's not been too bad. He's come up with some crucial goals, especially, end of last season against Middlesbrough, and he slams it into the top corner. Look, he comes up with the goods sometimes. At other times he's a bit too indecisive, and I don't think he'll make it into the team. I think you'll see this 11, regardless of who we play at the weekend. I think, I know we're going to be playing Arsenal, but at the end of the day, playing Arsenal, yeah, it's an important game. This is going to determine whether we go on the Champions League group stages or not. So right now, this game is the most important game Liverpool are going to play this season so far. And the season's not very old, but it will determine a lot. Are we going to be in the Champions League and in a commanding position maybe with transfers? Or are we going to be in the Europa League? And not so much. So I don't know, because I don't think that we have the power like Man United did last season with their players to be able to go and win the actual competition. We kind of showed that. We've got better players now. We've got some better players, of course, and I would have faith in Liverpool if we did go into the Europa League, that we could go far in it. We could get to the final again. It's just getting over the line with these things. But I firmly believe that Liverpool will get through this game against Hoffenheim. I'm probably not going to speak a great deal about Hoffenheim, to be fair, because I haven't done any research on their last match or something like that in the league or anything like that. I'm mainly looking at it from a Liverpool perspective, because that's really the perspective that I care about, is the Liverpool perspective. And I think this would be a solid team. We were very good defensively at the weekend against Crystal Palace, and that is one thing that has to be taken note of, with Klavan in there and Robertson alongside Matip. And I would have Trent Alexander-Arnold, no disrespect to Joe Gomez, who did perform okay, but I think Alexander-Arnold would get the nod purely because I think he's performing a lot better, and I think he just offers just that little bit more than both Gomez and Nathaniel Klein right now. Klein, again, who is another one that is still injured. No news on when he's coming back, but I just think that is what I would go for in terms of the back four. Mignolet is probably a shoo-in to be in goal, because Karius, I think he's going to have a struggle to get that jersey off him. I don't think he's going to be able to even get in the team very much. He's going to have some heroics in a cup competition or something like that to even think about dislodging Mignolet. And then the front three speaks for itself. Mane, Firmino and Salah. In my opinion, I would probably it's risky putting a young lad up there like Solanke. You maybe The only thing that I could think that may change is that he might go with Sturridge instead. I don't know. I'd go for Firmino over Sturridge at the moment just because of pure work rate. The work rate, the hard, the discipline and the hard work that Firmino puts in puts him ahead of Sturridge at the moment, especially against a very good German team like Hoffenheim, who last season they didn't get beat at all throughout the whole season. Didn't get beat since the last day of the 15-16 season. So that's, we go there. We picked up a 2-1 win, and people are saying, it's only 2-1. That's a big victory, and now we bring this home. We bring it home, and we bring it home big style. We have to bring this home literally. We've got to go there. We've got to make sure we can't just sit on a 2-1. I don't think that we will. I don't believe that we will sit on a 2-1. But we cannot sit on a 2-1 and expect to just, flow through it, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. Because they will come at us, and they'll come at us because they're in the same situation, whereas they're wanting to be in the Champions League as well. They're in literally the same position as us. We need to show that we want it more, that we need it more. But the desire needs to be there from every single one of the players, regardless of what system we play, who plays where, whatever, all that sort of stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters, who is going through to the Champions League group stages and the Champions League in its fullest. In my opinion, I believe Liverpool will do this. I think with the home support, I think with just being at home in general, but that support that we have there, the Champions League nights at Liverpool, having never been myself personally, but having spoken to people who've been there, man, there's nothing like it. And even, having to watch it on TV and stuff like that, it's magic. It's absolute magic. And I want that magic back. And I know that every Liverpool fan wants that magic back. And I think we can do it. I'm not going to do a score prediction because I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very, very hard-fought game, just like the first leg was. We can't do any silly mistakes like giving away penalties and all this sort of business that we were doing. Let's keep it tight. Let's attack and let's just do it. Basically, let me know what your thoughts are on both the formations that I put up. Which one do you prefer? Or is there another formation or system that you think Liverpool could and should use? Let me know in the comments below. That'd be absolutely awesome, and I'll hopefully remember to mention them in the review video of this one. This game is happening on Wednesday night, and it's going to be about either 7:30 or 7:45. It's going to happen. There will be a reaction video to it, which is like 90 seconds or so, which will go to full-time reaction as well. Of course, those guys are they're legends, absolute legends, and really, really good people. And it'll be on my channel as well. Then I think maybe a day later or something like that, I'll do a full review depending on how it goes. If it doesn't go our way, I might not do one for a couple of days because I won't want to. Sorry, I'm just being honest. If it doesn't go our way, I'll probably be really bummed out and I'll probably leave it for a couple of days. But if it goes well, expect one on Thursday. Okay? So, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let people know about it. Share it around. Share the channel around and just say, he's okay. And they may check me out. Who knows? Thanks very much for watching, as always, and I'll catch you later.